Welcome to the Crochet Business School podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Thomas, and I'm going to help you to make your crochet business dreams a reality, stitch by stitch, without you being chained to your hook and being able to live that lifestyle you've been dreaming of using the power of your crochet. So when I'm choosing what topic to record for these podcasts, I always start with a question. And that question is, what do I wish I'd known when I first started my crochet business? Because there is so much that goes into running your own business. Not just practicalities, but in terms of how you think, in terms of your confidence. And, there is so much, because the practicalities is also learning about the business side. And just because you can crochet fantastically and you love it more than anything, it doesn't mean that you know much about business. There's a whole heap of stuff that maybe you haven't thought of. It's impossible to know what you don't know when you start this. And that's why I do this. But I thought I could do just a general episode and walk you through what I wish I'd known. Things that kind of switched a light bulb on for me once I did learn them. And just generally my thoughts on it. Because I do choose different topics. I choose topics that I have suggested by others from questions that I've seen in other Facebook groups. But everyone is going to have their own list. Once you get on this journey and start making those strides forward and building your business, you're always going to look back and think, I wish I'd known that. The big one I wish I'd known was, it's not as simple as crocheting something, anything, and then selling it. That is, in a nutshell, what you want to do and what a business is. But it's not simple. There's lots of pieces and things you need to think about. It's not as simple a process as that little sentence sounds. Crochet something, sell it. That is the essence of the process. But everything that goes into that, there is so much. It's not simple. If it was simple, everybody would be doing it. And they don't. And many would-be crochet business owners, they shut up shop and walk away whilst they realise that it's not that simple. It is hard work. It does take time. There is a huge learning curve involved. So if crochet is not your passion, this is not going to work, because you have to be driven to do this. You have to want it, because it's the only thing that's going to get you through this process of learning and at times what feels like failing before you reach your goals. There is a whole lot behind it. I wish I'd known anything about business. I knew nothing about selling. I knew nothing about building audiences or how to promote or SEO or taking pictures. I knew none of this. I just had this idea that I could make a bit of extra cash by selling my crochet. I didn't know a thing about business. I wish I had. I wish I'd known I needed to know about business. As bizarre as that sounds, I think a lot of people start selling their crochet with the aim of just making a bit of extra cash. But to even do that, you need to know a bit about business. You need to know a bit about selling. So if you don't know that yet, it's an even bigger learning curve. Because you also got to get into the mindset of, I'm selling, this takes a bit of knowledge, and it's go find out what that is. That takes a realization too. And then that brings you to how frustrating this process can be. It's frustrating when you take so much time to crochet something. It looks fantastic. You're really pleased with it. You get it up for sale, whether that be social media, Etsy, whichever way it is, and then it sits there and doesn't sell. It's frustrating. You wonder, what did I do wrong? Is my price too high? Is it just rubbish and I haven't realised? All these thoughts go through your head. And the very first thing I ever made was a set of 3 little baskets. I thought were really cute. I thought they looked great. And they did not sell. It took 3 months for those to sell. And I had every my monkey going through my head wondering what was wrong with them. It's only looking back that I could see the mistakes that I made. But at the time, I just didn't know any better. I lowered my price until, nobody could resist. The truth is that my description was terrible. My titles were terrible. I did not know how to use Etsy. I did have a Facebook account, but it wasn't set up properly. And my photos were terrible. Looking back, it's really obvious why it didn't sell. But at the time, it was just really frustrating. I didn't know why these things were not flying off the shelf. Once I did get my Facebook properly set up and I started building my audience, I was getting a lot of compliments for these little baskets. But getting them to sell was an entirely different thing. And when you just don't know what the problem is, it's very frustrating because you want to change something, but you don't know what. There's an issue, but you don't know what. And that's part of this learning curve, is figuring out all these little parts. And that does take an awful lot of time. But while you're there figuring it out, you've got this frustration of why your crochet isn't selling. What I will say is it's got nothing to do with your crochet. It's got nothing to do with your skills as a crocheter. That I guarantee. I also guarantee that if you lower your prices, you will regret it later. Your crochet skills are not the problem. Your pricing isn't the problem. But at the time, you don't know that. And so you've got to get through this period while you're learning that you're going to get frustrated, and it's going to take time to figure that out. Which leads to the next one, which is how long it would take to build those sales up. It took a long, long time because I was building my crochet business around a job and a young child. My little boy was less than a year old when I started doing this. I wanted to make some extra cash to help with household finances, and I was back at the day job 3 days a week, which meant I didn't have much time to spend on my crochet business. At the time, I wasn't even talking about the name business. I was just selling to make a bit of extra cash. I did not consider myself to have a business. That also took time for me to realise. But it does take time around other responsibilities, around a job, around a family. It takes a long time to build. You've got to give yourself time. When you're looking at other crochet businesses, you see, how good they look. You see them boasting about sales on social media. What you don't know is how long it took them to get there. And we forget that part. We're just envious of where they are now. And we forget to ask, what's their backstory? How long did this actually take them? How much time do they have to spend on their business? It takes time to learn everything you need. It takes time to build the audience in the right niche who will be interested in the type of crochet that you're making. And it takes time for you to crochet. So if you've only got a few hours a week, it's going to take you a very long time to create a product line. And we've got to give ourselves grace on that. It's going to take time to build up your customer base and start making regular sales. And it's going to take way more time than you hoped it would. Which means you've got to have confidence in yourself. Because this time it takes can really eat into your self-belief about how good your crochet is and your ability to sell it. And I wish I'd had confidence in myself. I wish I'd had the confidence in my prices. I wish I had the confidence that I was on the right track. You are going to change things and, change your mind, change your direction in this business as you learn, which is perfectly normal. There is nothing wrong with changing tact. There is nothing wrong with deciding maybe that person is not right for your business. I'm going to make something else instead. Maybe that yarn was the wrong choice. I'm going to start using a different yarn instead. Making these decisions and changing things is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you're learning. You're learning what works for you. You're learning what works for your audience. You're learning, what sells. Part of the learning process is honing your brand. And that honing means that you will change your mind. You will quietly stop doing some things, stop selling certain products. You may change your name, you may change your logo, you may change the way you speak to people, and it's all part of the learning process. But you also have to have confidence that that's the right decision. That's difficult. When you feel like you're not sure what you're doing, it's really difficult to have confidence in your decisions. The only thing you can go on is gut instinct on what feels right for you. Trust your crochet skills. Trust that you are doing the right thing and go with your gut. That's not always going to lead you right, but the one thing you do need to be is comfortable in your business identity. Because if it doesn't sit right, you're not going to want to shout about it because something feels off. And if something feels off, it just affects your energy and the way you show up. And if you don't show up, you're not going to sell. So feeling comfortable with your business choices is essential. However, that comes with a caveat that when you try something new, it automatically feels uncomfortable. So you kind of do have to try things out sometimes to see if they fit or not, but have confidence in that process. I think one of the biggest issues I faced was changing from crochet hobbyist to crochet business owner. That is a mindset shift, and I really didn't understand how necessary that was. You cannot treat your business as a hobby. You can have a hobby that makes you a bit of extra cash, but if you treat your business as a hobby, you will never make a career out of it. You will never make a consistent income that you can live on. Sometimes we call it a business as an excuse to spend more time on our hobby, as an excuse to go out and buy that yarn that we really want because it's for business purposes. We can use the word business as an excuse to fund hobbies. But if you are serious about it becoming a business, you cannot treat your crochet as a hobby. And this is a mindset shift. This is where you show how determined you are to make this work. You have to make that shift, and it's not easy. It is not easy. And it can take time to really make that shift a reality. But it has to happen. Having, been through the whole business process, and I'm not going to say come out the other side because we're always growing, we're always learning. But having had that experience, these are all the things I wish I'd known things that I wish had been more obvious to me. And it's something just be aware of. These things, I think a lot of these things will pop up from most people in their crochet business. The start of the journey is the hardest part because that's where all the confidence issues come in. It's where all the wobbles come in about wondering whether you're doing the right thing, you're on the right track, are you making the right decisions? Because you don't know what you need to know yet, it's really hard to not change everything all in one go and think, I just need to chuck it out and start again. Having that confidence in yourself, in your crochet skills, is going to help you get past this first stage. But it's not easy. I think most people make it up as they go along. But the biggest part of Crochet Business School is that I want to help you through that process. I want you to help you get on your feet and realize you can do this. You can learn what you need to learn. Your crochet is fabulous and can sell, and it will sell. You've just got to go through that learning process. And I want to show you all the bits that will help you get there. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Crochet Business School podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes and please subscribe to wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Crochet Business School. Subscribe to the channels because I would love to hear from you and what you're up to in your own crochet business. If you have any questions about creating and growing your own crochet business, please send them my way and I'll answer them in future episodes. So thank you for joining me and I shall see you in the next episode. Bye for now. The next step in creating your profitable crochet business is awaiting you. I have the tools and tips you need to get paid for the craft you love without tucking all of your time away inside the Hooked on Success podcast membership. There are membership tiers to suit everyone's budget and support needs. To find out more, click on the link beneath this podcast or go to crochetbusinessschool.com/success to discover how you can get in today.